Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the World Class Championship Wrestling Review Series. We close the year of 1987 here today. The close of the year happens December 26th, 1987. I will get to in a moment. Relatively short show because it's very angle heavy, and I will say that it is one of the most tasteless angles, certainly the most tasteless angle in the history of world class, probably one of the top 5, maybe, tasteless angles in wrestling in North America that I've ever seen. But we'll get there, the Fritz Von Erich angle, to close the show in a bit. Jeff Ross and Cowboy Tony. Cowboy Tony now managed by Percy Pringle, which just seems odd to me. Although pink and red stars on the jacket of Percy Pringle, maybe there's some flamboyance to come out of Pringle yet. Anyway, Ross with the pull of the hair accusation against him. Tony breaks the match down a little bit and kind of goes in that direction. Tony tries to keep the match on the mat. Easy for me to say. Some chokeouts there, and kind of a pull through, Irish whip, and a big back body drop there, and it's certainly a win for Roz. Is the way we go, but Percy Pringle not happy with this. Gordy, Roberts, and Parsons, the fabulous Freebirds, sans Michael Hayes, are back. Parsons kind of joining as a mock Freebird. I don't really know what that's about, but bringing him back as a heel, kind of the way they're going to go there. Gordy Roberts and Parsons versus Kevin Von Erich, Chris Adams rather, and Steve Simpson. Let me just double check that because I get the Simpsons confused. Anyway, obviously the return of the Freebirds shows the desperate nature of the area, and it is what it is as far as that's concerned. Anyway, they are in a 6-man steel cage match here, which plays into the ending of the contest. And Gordy and Kevin get right after each other amazingly. They don't really ever talk about maybe they do on another program that isn't on the network, but they don't talk about the heel turn of Iceman King Parsons, and I wish they would have. That's something that actually would have interested me greatly to find out the why behind that. Anyway, match kind of breaks down a little more slowly. Gordy and Von Erich square off a bit, and I like the wooden poles on the cage. In other words, kind of that cage around the actual ring. Buddy Roberts manages to launch himself from the top rope 3/4 of the way across the ring with a top rope maneuver. Partway through, Simpson comes in, goes to work on Roberts, which I think that's a rivalry that you could easily renew. They do the crisscross spot for a few minutes, and big back body drop by Simpson. Drop kick. I assume this is an either escape the cage or pinfall victory deal. Needless to say, the Chris Adams as a babyface thing is working here. First time we've seen him team up with the Von Erichs in a while. Gordy and Adams could be an interesting program. Not sure how far Gordy is here, or if he's just here for the Christmas night type celebration stuff. Pull of the arm into an arm bar, and we kind of see Chris Adams still looking to be $1 million, and that's kind of cool. Buddy Roberts does still the majority of the selling. I never really understood how valuable Roberts was to watching World Class. And that's kind of been a cool journey for me. I'm actually really glad I did the World Class Series. I think I'm going to finish Superstars up next. What's available on the network, and then search online for other episodes. Maybe get 100 or so issues of WWF Superstars in. Anyway, Flying Tackle by Iceman King Parsons, and Parsons as a heel is enjoyable to me. It's the first time I've seen it, but still I'm enjoying that. Chris Adams breaks up a pinning attempt on Kevin Von Erich, and the Freebirds are by far going to town very aggressively from the top rope. A miscommunication between the Freebirds, Buddy Roberts more accurately, and his adversary leads to some issues there. The babyfaces do get your victory, surprisingly. And then we move on to Terry Gordy interrupting the match in the cage that was to be Al Perez and Kerry for the World Championship. Kerry with a very nice robe. Fritz is out with him as, I guess, a second. Al Perez out with Gary Hart. Terry Gordy basically says that Fritz and Kerry do not in any way deserve that opportunity. The match breaks down, never really gets started. Everybody in the ring, the Von Erichs in there, Angel of Death in there. An Angel of Death hasn't even been presented yet. Fritz gets assaulted. This whole thing turns into this massive brawl for several minutes. Fritz is fighting his way out of the corner. Fritz is assaulted with a kendo stick. Fritz is basically pretty well laid out, and he is beaten on pretty heavily and harshly for several minutes. Takes some shots. Kerry and Kevin come over to take care of him. He barely can get out of the cage. He's barely able to walk, and he then collapses on the floor. The inference is that he has had a heart attack. They cart him out on a stretcher. I do not agree with this angle at all, even 30 years later. There's a certain level of realism, heart attacks, for example, things you don't want to deal with in a wrestling context, in a context of a storyline. Number one, this is, looking back on it, it looks hokey, but also the idea that you're trying to save the territory by working with the idea of somebody's death is just really tacky. It's exploitive, it's not good, and it's really uncomfortable. I find the angle offensive. I'd be interested to see what other people think. But we'll close out 1987 that way. We'll start 1988 later today. My goal is to have at least a couple of months up every day until we're finished. So within a week, have the World Class Series finished. Anyway, so until next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.